I can't imagine anything worse on the planet than wearing MAGA shit.
No, I can't either. Like, you couldn't catch me dead in a MAGA outfit. If my choice was to walk from this office to the supermarket,
Yep.
I would rather be butt naked than wearing anything MAGA. I don't care if it was like the top of the line MAGA merch. I would walk naked and get arrested and put in a straitjacket and go to the insane asylum before I would wear that MAGA bullshit, because you know what it announces?
That you're stupid.
That you're stupid, that you're racist, that you're homophobic, and that you have a small penis, all in one outfit.
Yeah, I'm voting for Trump. Trump has put his tariffs all over the place. I've been trying to understand him. I don't. And everything's in the because of it. Donald Trump just cost me $20 million or whatever he did. Maybe don't be on the golf course.
Everyone in this room, everyone loves you. And I just want to say you're a true hero for this country. I don't know how many of you guys are invested in crypto or stocks. What the is going on with our country? Guys, why am I poor?
Because Donald Trump is the nominee against Joe Biden, I won't just vote for him. I will walk over broken glass to vote for him. His giant tariff policy that he just dropped on the market unilaterally, probably unconstitutionally.
This is a vivid demonstration of very well-known, prominent Trump fans, whether they're in your feeds, as they say, or not, going through their own personal experience of the harm of these Trump economic policies as their viewers watch.
We've got to support Trump or civilization will collapse. Those are quotes. And it's true. I'm calling for it right now. 25th Amendment, impeachment, whatever needs to happen to get this front and center, to get control of our country.
I've been very open with the fact that I will be supporting Trump.
I'm completely embarrassed that I supported Trump in the past because of, the fact that he completely flipped on his entire base.
I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much. It's
I'm
a great
behind
honor.
you. I never even wanted Trump to win until he was the only guy to vote for.
Dude, Trump is the man. You guys ever meet Trump? You talk to him? No, you meet him and he's actually a solid guy.
When you're at a Trump rally, you're like, oh, I could definitely see how Hitler happened. Like, I'm not joking to you, dude. When you go to a Trump rally, it makes you question the sanity of everybody. If Trump said, go grab a gun and go do anything, they would do it. They would do it.
I know, it's a cult.
I became an active Trump supporter when they raided Mar-a-Lago.
You and I and everyone else who supported him, you wrote speeches for him, I campaigned for him. I mean, we're implicated in this for sure. I want to say I'm sorry for misleading people, and it was not intentional.
It might be crass, and it might be certain parts of it might feel, vulgar or whatever, but it is democratic to have people come out to speak directly to them. To run as an America first, and you're going to take care of America, and then turn around and go, all of these things, daycare, Medicare, Medicaid, we have nothing to do with that. We're fighting wars. This is the greatest about face in political history that I have really ever seen.
Donald Trump should be impeached and removed for this. All of his supporters should turn on him. It's the absolute betrayal of everything that he ran and campaigned on and everything that he stood for. Duran has done over and over again. But now we've pushed them to the point where they probably don't feel that they have the option not to respond. And Donald Trump telling them to come back to the negotiating table now is a joke.
Yeah.
I mean, what a impotent leader to be sitting there talking about coming back to the negotiating table. It's like sitting after Pearl Harbor and telling FDR, now's the time to go negotiate with the Japanese. Right. Negotiations are over now. The time for negotiations was before this. And so, yeah, Donald Trump looks, and man, I supported him this last year. I apologize for doing so. It was a bad calculation. At the time, it seemed like the right one. But he should be impeached and removed for this one. Wow. And not on some not on some ridiculous Nancy Pelosi. Of course, the Congress will never do it because they're all a bunch of, corrupt hacks.
This is the one thing they support. This is
Donald Trump should be impeached and removed for this. All of his supporters should turn on him. It's the absolute betrayal of everything that he ran and campaigned on and everything that he stood for. And I will say, despite the fact that, Donald Trump supporters have been labeled like a cult following, and that certainly is true for a percentage of his supporters, he is going to lose his coalition over this. I know I don't just speak for myself when I say there are a lot of us who simply will not go along with this. So it's just a devastating mistake. By the way, on top of that, he's also going to lose the deportation fight because of this, because right now he needed all the political capital he could have to turn that, you got a majority support for deportations, but the minority is very mobilized and they're out and they're protesting all around the country. He needed all of his political capital for that move. So here's what we got. The neocons win. More war abroad and, bomb the world and invite the world. No matter who you vote for, you always get John McCain.
Changing one's mind isn't always easy, especially when it comes to politics. In this video, we'll hear from our former Trump supporters who are publicly sharing why they believe they got it all wrong and what made them change their perspective and why they have decided to speak out. All right, let's watch some of these powerful and thought-provoking clips. Please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. All right, let's get into it.
This is strike three. I supported him. I defended him. I even told people early on, trust the process. I was wrong. This right here is strike three, but I'll come back to that in a minute. First, it was the Epstein files. We were promised transparency. Then suddenly they disappeared, and anyone still asking questions is told, stop following me as the president. That's not accountability. That's silencing your own supporters. Then Iran, and don't get me wrong, Iran has been yelling death to America for decades. They've sponsored more terrorism and proxy groups than anyone else. They were directly involved, especially with a lot of the parts and materials for bombs, with a lot of American soldiers getting catastrophically injured and taken out in Iraq and Afghanistan. You could have just told us Iran was evil and that we weren't gonna placate them anymore. But you had to spin it. You had to throw the propaganda. We were told their nuclear capabilities were completely destroyed after dropping a series of bunker busters. But then, all of a sudden, they're close to a nuke again, and here we are at war. Which one is it? Spin after spin. The story changed multiple times. I watched it all in real time. The propaganda was beyond obvious. Do they think we're that stupid? Clearly they do, because if you disagree, you're called a low IQ person. And now this image, posting a picture of yourself as Jesus, then deleting it and saying you were supposed to be a doctor in that photo. Again, stop lying to us. You messed up badly. Be a man and own it. This is the problem. Post something completely outrageous. There's a big reaction, then you delete it, then you spin it. That's not leadership. I hate to say it. That's manipulation. I did believe drain the swamp. It never happened. I believed in accountability, and it was coming. It never happened. I believed things would be different, and they are different in a lot of ways that I really love, but not for the most important ones. My priorities are simple: God, family, country, faith, morality, values, and truth. Those come before any man, before any party. This is how great nations fail. When people stop questioning, when loyalty replaces principles, that's when countries fail. Because history shows it comes when leaders and institutions lose all credibility. We already went through that crap with Obama and Biden. I supported him, and I was wrong. He has a lot of damage to undo, and I really hope he does. There's only one that we can rely on, and that's Jesus Christ, the Son of the living God. So if you're okay with burying the Epstein truths, letting victims never see their abusers pay the price, at the end, a man depicting himself as Jesus, I don't know what to tell you, except if you meet Jesus in the end, the only words he's going to say to you will be, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity.
A lot of former MAGA supporters are starting to abandon Trump right now, and I'll be honest, I voted for Trump in 2016, but I realized pretty quick I made a mistake. Which makes me wonder, for the Democrats watching this, are you willing to give former MAGA voters any grace? And if so, is there a line? Because there seems to be a few different levels of defection. Level 1 are the early exiters, folks like me, people that voted for Trump in 2016 but quickly realized their mistake. Level 2 we'll call the late realization. These are the folks that supported Trump through his first term and maybe even voted for him again, but eventually changed their minds. Level 3 we'll call the double downers. These are the ones that supported Trump throughout the years, voted for him multiple times, and defended him relentlessly, but eventually, early in this term, they started to leave. And then finally, level 4, we'll call them the triple Trumpers. These are the newest defectors. This is MAGA to the core, the ones that finally hit a breaking point, probably with the Iran war. So I am genuinely curious. If someone leaves MAGA, how much grace are you willing to give them? Leave a comment below. Because people are allowed to change, but accountability still matters.
Not proud of it, man enough to say it. I was one of those guys back in 2020, 2024, shit, even 2016 before I could vote. I was all for Trump. I was all for MAGA. I believed he was going to make America great again. I believed he was going to drain the swamp. I thought he was going to be different. He wasn't a career politician. And boy, was I wrong. My views didn't change. They still remain the same. I did fall for the deception, though, because I can't in good conscience support someone who's responsible for a pointless war where thousands of innocent lives are dying every single day. I can't support someone who mocked Christ on Easter. I sure as hell can't support someone who calls the people who want transparency on one of the most heinous and insidious acts in human history, the Epstein files, calls them liars and lunatics. He's probably a part of it himself. Can't support that. When it comes to politics, it's hard to even align myself with one of the parties because they're both being controlled by the same puppeteers at the top. So I was wrong. Not proud of it, man enough to say it.
I was wrong about Trump. I admit it. I was the guy that was watching the rallies. I was the guy that was defending him, standing up for him, agreeing with him, voting for him, encouraging others to vote for him. But because I listened to him so much, I know what exactly he said, what he said he was going to do. And as I watch things unfold right now, he's lied about everything. Literally, it's clear. He just told us that he eliminated Iran's military completely, and then now he's exchanging missiles with them. Everything from that to the financial situations, all this extra money he said that he got, that he was going to give American people, it was all a lie. And I don't support him no more on any level, and I regret any video I made supporting him. I regret anything I said to defend him on his behalf. The liberals were right. I'm going to go ahead and put it like that.
Today's a day that I'm feeling a lot of remorse for having supported Trump and MAGA. Hey everybody, Rich here at Leaving MAGA at leavingmaga.org. Let me preface by saying that I am not making this video to elicit any sympathy or any pity from anyone, but it's just, it's one of these days that it's a stark reminder to me about the remorse, regret, and some of the guilt that I feel over having supported Trump and MAGA, not just as a mere voter, but someone who was an activist, who was a pundit, who worked on the Trump campaign, who donated to the Trump campaign, someone who was an unapologetic and public Trump and MAGA supporter as I was. And as the president threatens war crimes and probably nuclear war, it's just a reminder for me that I made a mistake. And I would ask all of you out there who right now have MAGA friends and relatives, I think a lot of them are starting to feel some regret. I think a lot of them are starting to privately and quietly have their own doubts, their own confusion, maybe questioning their beliefs. Maybe they're feeling a little bit guilt themselves about having supported Trump. It's just, today's the kind of day that, you know, it makes me think that I once supported the Republican Party, and perhaps it's cynical of me to say this, but the Republican Party will not do anything to Trump. Trump knows that. When I was in MAGA, it was a fantasy of ours to kill off the GOP and remake it and transform it into a MAGA party. And I think if it means holding on the power, the Republican Party would let the country burn down to the ground and rule over its ashes. And I don't think that would be too steep a price to pay in the minds of the Republican Party. So reach out to your MAGA friends and family today. See how they're feeling. Ask them if they're having any doubts. Are they questioning what they're seeing? I believe many in MAGA, if not most, know that something is amiss in the country right now.
This one is super fascinating. Okay, a woman by the name of Victoria. I'm going to play it for you. She was not aware. She didn't even know January 6th happened. And when she found out about it, she was done. Okay, so listen to what she has to say.
I'd been assigned to watch a PBS documentary about January 6th. I remember
them talking about the Proud Boys. And I was like, what are the Proud Boys? What is this? And watching that documentary, I learned a lot of really, really not so nice truths about Trump. And that led me down this path of asking questions. Did this really happen? Could I have context on this? At the core of MAGA, I believe that people want to love America, not the America that is, but the idea of America, right? And I love the idea of America. So to think that people could go and assault like the foundations of what this country is, like they preach constitutionalism, but then disregard it when it does not suit them. And that was a big breaking point for me, were the contradictions. Once I saw them, like there were so many contradictions.
I mean, look, I think people out there might say, how did she not know about January 6th? Be quiet. That's not the question to be asking right now. The question is, people like her, this is a great website. It's like, who needs to know more information about what this guy is actually about? Who may not watch MS Now. They may not watch Midas Touch or listen to it. They may not listen to Pod Save America, whatever else it may be, and allow for a bridge for these people to walk over it to the side that is not supporting somebody who played a role in January 6th. So that, I think, is super interesting. Okay, there's another one. I mean, there are lots of them, but there are a couple that stuck out to us. And one of them is from a guy named Michael from Ohio. And what was his hard stop? Well, the villainization of immigrants. And like, Lord knows, that has been central. I see you, Stephen Miller, to what Trumpism is all about. But it's interesting to hear people talk about it and this realization of the impact of it on their actual lives. So just listen to what Michael had to say.
I feel the way you talk as a leader really matters. It's at some point, it's not just words, and it affects people's lives. And it's the immigration process is already really hard as it is, and it takes a long time. And if they're drumming up fear about immigrants, I feel like it's going to make it almost impossible for me to bring her over here.
Okay, so he's talking about the fact that his girlfriend is from the Philippines and he's seeing the impact on his life. And again, you may say, well, Stephen Miller was in the first White House. That's true. But you know what? Everything is worse this term.
I was a Trump supporter. I don't know how long I can keep doing this.
You should have stopped years ago, but continue.
I have a construction company, and not a fucking thing is getting done.
So here we are, in the midst of the consequences of our own actions. Got it. Continue.
This is what I get.
Yes.
This is what I fucking get. Nothing but white boys. Takes 4 days to do a one-day job. I might have fucked up.
You might have fucked up? No, you 100% fucked up. But the sad thing is, the sad and horrible thing is that you only think you fucked up because it's directly affecting you. You don't care about the millions of other people that it's affecting in the United States. This is 100% what you get when you ignore that he's a felon. When you ignore when he said, grab her by the you know what. When you ignore that he is liable for sexual assault. When you ignore that he has done scams and he says racist, horrible, homophobic things. This is what you get. Because the racism was there in his language all the time. You could hear him speak his racism every single day, and you chose to ignore it. So yeah, this is what you have to deal with. And it doesn't matter which race we're talking about. Donald Trump only wants white people in this country, and you ignored that. So yeah, you're dealing with it. All my love.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before we start or before we begin, please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. So today's topic is one that is generating like discussion about, the topic is about some former Trump supporters who are speaking out publicly about how they've changed their mind. For some, it comes down to the economy. Other points to disagreement over specific policy, political rhetoric, and the direction they believe the country has taken. Many says the reality didn't match what they expected, and when they casted their votes, right? Of course, not everyone agrees. Many Trump supporters continue to strongly back him, arguing that his policy have benefited the country, and that criticism is unfair or politically motivated, right? That is what makes democracy interesting, because people have different priorities, different experience, and sometimes they change their opinion as new events unfold, right? Changing your mind doesn't automatically mean you are right or wrong. It simply means you have had new experience or see things differently than before. The bigger question now is, should voters feel comfortable admitting they have changed their mind, or should they stand by their original choice no matter what? To me, I think it's your choice. You can decide to change your mind. All right, guys, now it's your turn. What is your opinion on this? Have you ever changed your opinion about a political leader? If so, what made you change your mind? Though I have. I would like you to leave your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this discussion, please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notification for more honest conversation about politics, society, and current events that is happening all around the world. Once again, thanks for watching, and see you all in my next video. Bye.